Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Radhika Jivan Prabhu, are you able to turn it up slightly? Hare Krishna. Is this loud enough? Okay, thank you so much. So we ask you to please turn your phones on silent. Let's do a check. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you for coming this evening for this Gita Jayanti program. And we've been following it through the week. It's not a traditional program that we've had in the temple, like commemorating it for a week and so on. But we tried it this year. And we had some very wonderful devotees speak through the course of the week. We began with Dharmaraj Prabhu on Monday, and then the second speaker on Tuesday was Vaishali Mataji, and on Wednesday was Kripamoya Prabhu. Thursday, Pitaji, Atarishi Prabhu. And Friday, who spoke on Friday? Kaneya and Rajasundari. And then on Saturday, Sarvanga Sundari Mataji. Sunday was Radha Damodar Prabhu. And today, yours truly. We're trying to do something. So they have covered Bhagavad Gita, all the chapters, like very rapidly, just to get an idea and then also be able to commemorate the fact that we've been through Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters for the entire week. So we also want to dedicate this week and Bhagavad Gita to the 50-year anniversary of Srila Prabhupada's arrival in South Africa. So everything we're doing this year, we want to make sure we have that branding. And 40 years for Sri Sri Radha Radhanath Temple. Now on this side here, you see this very magnificent Bhagavad Gita. Isn't it beautiful? So it's not fully complete because I rushed. The devotee was making it, but he's going to do it up further. It's Rabin Prabhu, and he's associated with the Pinetown Namahata. He makes all Hare Krishna. He makes all the props for their plays and so on. And he was so magnanimous. Within a few days, he made this. It's not just a display, but if you look carefully later, you'll see it has 2 cutouts on the side. So you can actually, it's a prop, you can wear it and walk around with that. It came in a little late, we hoped to have got it yesterday, but we're simply going to say, Hare Krishna, today is my birthday, would you like to take me home? And then somebody take a Bhagavad Gita. But it's a very wonderful, and it's so sturdy that it can be placed on the floor. And Bhagavad Gitas can be placed on the top of it as a display in a mall or somewhere where they are doing the tables at the moment. And we will share that. We'll share this prop with whoever wants to use it. So, all the blessings to these wonderful devotees. So let us try to focus on Bhagavad Gita chapter 17 and 18 today. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. You can say the prayers with me. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Play Madanga. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Manachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Hari Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. So we're going to be looking at the chapter 17, which is called Divisions of Faith. Really powerful chapter also. So please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The chapter is called, chapter 17 is called The Divisions of Faith. And in Sanskrit, Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. Shraddha, faith, Traya Vibhaga Yoga. And this chapter, I'll give you a synopsis so you know where we're heading. So just prior to this, these chapters, chapter 15 and 16 were spoken by Radha Damodar Prabhu. 15 was about the banyan tree, which represents the material nature and how we are all entangled in this banyan tree of material existence. And because of a banyan tree, you can't quite make out where's its roots and where's its branches. If you look at a banyan tree, you see just lots of stems emanating from everywhere. So that represents the material world and how we are entangled in that. Sometimes in the upper planetary system, sometime in the middle, sometime in the lower, up and down, like a Ferris wheel. And the point of that chapter was that with a weapon of detachment, we should cut through the tree of entanglement. Then in chapter 16, we hear about the inmates of this world, the divine and the demoniac persons, and the qualities of such persons. So the link for those chapters then, because chapter 15 had spoken about the banyan tree and chapter 16 speaks about the divine and the demoniac, then we learn from that chapter that it is the divine qualities that will help us to elevate ourselves on that banyan tree of existence, or even to escape it. So chapter 16 also explains the demoniac qualities so that we can understand what we should avoid. Those things that drive us and entangle us lower and lower. So that banyan tree is representing the material universe, upper planetary systems, middle, lower, and ultimately to escape from that. So Krishna declares in chapter 16 that those who are faithful followers of Shastra, scripture, they are divine. And those who are not, who are opposing it, the faithless, they are demoniac. Hard pill to swallow for some people. But we're not saying, Krishna said that. So it means that for those who want to actually engage in spiritual knowledge, they should follow the proper teachings of the Supreme Lord. And the other class of people are simply engaged in material enjoyment, making that their religion. So the faithless are demoniac. Now the question is, Arjuna is going to ask Krishna, if somebody who is following with faith, has lots of faith, but is following something other than the Shastra, he's not following the scripture, but he has faith in something, but it's not the scripture, then where does he fit? Where does that person fit? Goodness, passion, or ignorance? Where is he in this whole banyan tree of material existence? So that's how the chapter begins. Arjuna starts with that. I'll just read one or two Sanskrit verses, but not all of them. Arjuna uvacha ye shastra vidim utsrijya yajante shradhayan vittaha tesham nishtatuka Krishna sadvam maho rajastamaha. Arjuna inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of scripture, but worship according to their own imagination? Are they in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? So we have those kinds of people in the world. They do not subscribe to any type of scriptural instruction, but they feel that their mind is what they would rely on. We know, we see that. Let us just do what we want to do. I shall do what I want to do. So there. They do not take instructions about what is righteous and unrighteous. So let us, in this chapter then, when it says divisions of faith, these are the sections that is divided into. These are the divisions of faith. So I'll give you a summary. So in the first few verses from 1 to 7, we're talking about faith and worship in different modes. So there are 3 modes in this material world. 3 modes meaning 3 energies of the material nature. What are those 3? Who knows? Mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. Anybody knows the Sanskrit? Ignorance is tamas. Passion, rajas. And goodness, sattva. So that's why we eat sattvic food, meaning mode of goodness. Right. So this is faith and worship in the mode. So each of the different categories are going to be discussed in the different modes. So there's food in the modes. Krishna is going to describe all of this there's sacrifices that we make in the modes. There's austerities we perform in the modes. There's charity we give in the different modes. And in the conclusion, Krishna will speak about this statement, Om Tat Sat. We'll come to that. So let me try to go through that quickly. So 17.4, Krishna is saying to Arjuna, men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Right? So today there was some big opening of some temple and people were worshipping. It's like the first time I heard of this Devi. There are so many. There are 8,400,000 species of life, of which so many categories are demigods, etc. So they're in the mode of goodness. But the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance are still within the material nature. So men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons. And it can be some even demoniac leader, somebody in this world who was famous. And we see how many leaders there are. And there are many, many worshippers of such persons. And those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. Tamasik is ghosts and spirits. Food in the modes. Which one? Looks like in the mode of goodness there. Nature's bounty that hangs from the boughs in all its color, not from the hooks in all its chemical color. So, food in the modes. Food in the mode of goodness increases the duration of life, purifies one's existence, gives you strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. It is juicy, it is fatty, it is wholesome, and it's pleasing to the heart. If you take that and we offer it to the Lord, then it's Sudha Sattva, it becomes prasad. Food in the mode of passion. Too bitter, too sour. This is all in Bhagavad Gita in this chapter. So I'm giving you the summary of it. Right? Too sour, too salty, too hot, pungent, dry, burning. It causes distress. Refers to pain felt while eating such foods. What is that? Measurement of the chilies. Scoville. That's right. Yeah, they measure the chilies in that. So which is supposed to be the most pungent? There's more than a habanero, I know. It's something. There's one. What's it called? Caroline? Reaper. Oh, going like Grim Reaper. Yeah, because there's a restaurant in England somewhere where they get their customers to sign a disclaimer before they eat there of the pungency of the food, and people have collapsed. Right? But there are people who do this. Refers to pain felt while eating such foods. Why would you want to do that? Misery, depression one feels after eating such food. And disease is yet to come. Right? Doctors will tell you so much diet-related diseases there. So it's in the food. Food in the mode of ignorance. Cooked more than 3 hours before eating, except prasadam. Go into the shopping aisles and pick up your packet of biscuit and crisps and see, made in 224, expires in 227. More than 3 hours before eating, except prasadam. Tasteless, putrid, decomposed, remnants of others and untouchable things. When we say remnants of others, it's not referring to prasadam, except the remnants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or saintly persons, especially the spiritual master. You can take his remnants. Otherwise, remnants increase infection or disease. And that's true. That's why they said, do not eat. Sharing is caring, they said during COVID. Not sharing is caring during COVID. Remember? Because it leads to infection and disease. Sorry if that's too graphic, but certainly we need some shock therapy if you're already not following. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, text 7 onwards. Text 9. Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed and putrid. The food consisting of remnants and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness. Except the remnants of saintly persons. This is a very wonderful verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bhakta pada dhuli, Bhakta pada jal, Bhakta bhukta avashesha. Tina mahabhal. Maha, they're very powerful. Bal means strength. Mahabal, very powerful. The dust of the feet of a devotee. We haven't got much time, but we could, so much you can speak about how Hanuman tricked Narad Muni and made him run behind him to get his veena. But then at the end, he told him, I just wanted your lotus feet, the dust of your lotus feet in my ashram. Right? So, the dust of the lotus feet of the devotee. The water that has washed the feet of a devotee. And the remnants of food left by a devotee are 3 very powerful substances for spiritual advancement. So, charity is also given in 3 modes. Charity given out of duty without expectation of return at a proper time and place to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness. Charity performed with expectation of some return or with the desire for fruitive results or in a grudging mood is said to be charity in the mode of passion. So sometimes we want name and fame. We want our name to go up on that building because we gave the money for that. Or put a plaque on the wall of the temple or something. We want that expectation. If it's given to you by the temple management, so on, that's fine. You accept it. You say, thank you very much. But if you have that expectation in your heart, then it's in the mode of passion. Or in a grudging mood. One time, we went to collecting some books from some business person. They said, the Hare Krishna are the only people, when you close the front door, somebody is knocking in the back door. So they give in a grudging mood. Right? So because the devotees go and they collect Lakshmi, not for their benefit, but they want to relieve the householders and those entangled in the material nature of some of that money that would bring them untold karma. Rather give it some of it to Krishna so it can temper the amount of karma you're going to receive from that money that you're earning in the world. So when you give without expectation of return, and the highest charity is to give to the Supreme Lord. Charity in ignorance. Charity performed at an impure place, at an improper time, to unworthy persons, without proper attention and respect, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. So when you stop at the traffic light, somebody will come up to you and ask, beg. And they will beg with the KFC bottle too, cup. Then you want to put the money in there, and the KFCs are the traffic lights on the top. Then you know where they're going. So you become implicated in that. You become implicated in that. Rather, you carry some fruit in your car which you've offered to the Lord. It is prasadam. When they come, here's some banana and apple, and they get the food for the stomach and food for the soul. You're helping disentangle that living entity from his very, very miserable existence. So if you can distribute prasadam, do that. That is why we've got food for life. And we offer that to the Supreme Lord. Only that which is offered to the Supreme Lord will be able to relieve the spirit soul from its entanglement. Anything offered to any other demigods, etc., they do not have the capacity to liberate anybody in the material world. Austerity of body, speech and mind. So, body, speech and mind. So, using your body in the worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, the superiors like the father and mother. Keep your body clean, keep it simple. Celibacy is important, especially as our youth are growing up. The material nature is an onslaught on their senses, everything, the movies, the malls, the magazines, the types of things on your social media, the conversations with your friends, all the nuances, sensual nuances in conversation, all those things impact the consciousness. So then you feel that if I'm not engaged with what they do, I am missing out in this world. But celibacy is important. It's a pure existence, and will help you to keep your consciousness pure. That's why brahmachari life is from the time you're born to 25. And at 25 you can take permission from your guru to enter household life, or if you're strong enough you can continue to be a naistiki brahmachari, sannyas. Non-violence. Quite ironic, don't you think? Bhagavad Gita spoke on a battlefield and you're saying non-violence? That's a question you have. Oh, okay. But we can talk about that at some other time. But those who are supporting dharma, righteousness, devotees are dedicated to the Supreme Lord and the path of peace. But when dharma is disrupted and the glory of the Supreme Lord is blasphemed, then the devotee becomes fiery. And he will protect. He will stand for righteousness. So, non-violence is the general practice of the devotee, but will not tolerate blasphemy or the vanquishing of dharma. Speech, speak truthful words, pleasing, that which is pleasing and beneficial, not flattery, but truthfully. Not agitating to others, but the teacher who corrects the students, even if that is agitating, that teacher can do that. The guru can chastise. The guru can chastise you, because it's that chastisement enters the consciousness and shakes the conditioning that you have. Prabhupada used to be fierce when he had to chastise, and some of the disciples will tell you, when Srila Prabhupada chastised, they crawled on their fours out of the room. They couldn't stand even. Gentle as a, what is that? Lamb, but roar like a lion. Nishinga Guru. So, another austerity of speech is that regularly recite and study the Vedic scriptures. So austerity means instead of using your power of speech to yap about everything else in the world that has nothing to do with helping you spiritually, you control your tongue and you control your power of speech to speak about that which is beneficial. Prabhupada gives the analogy, the frogs are croaking. The rain comes, they're croaking in the pond. And they think they're such wonderful singers. But they're inviting the snake, they're inviting their death. So similarly, when we are engaged with unnecessary talk, we're inviting that death. Gravity in thought, satisfaction, simplicity, self-control, purifications of one's existence. So be deep and grave in your thinking, not shallow. Have a framework that's philosophical, but at the same time, don't over-complexify. You know, there are people who let their minds run everywhere and they think. Overthink is that word, right? They say they overthink. We want to be simple. We don't overthink. Self-control. So there's also you perform penances. People perform penances. They do all sorts of penances. So penance in the mode of goodness is done with faith. You don't expect material benefits. You do it for the Supreme Lord. Like a penance would be Ekadasi. Right? Or fasting for Janmashtami. It's a penance. You're fasting the whole day till midnight. But you're doing it for Krishna. You're not doing it for some political reason. Hunger, strike. No. That's in the mode of ignorance or passion. If you're doing your penance in passion, it's out of pride. You want people to see. I chanted 64 rounds today. And everybody has to know about it, isn't it? You have to tell everybody, I did 64 rounds today. You're doing it out of pride. Chant your 64 rounds, let you and the Lord know. Right? It's between you and the Lord. So, we want everybody to know, I did 64. How many you did today, Prabhu? Oh, I only managed 25. Yeah, I did 64. I woke up 2 o'clock. The whole story we must hear. But that's out of pride, it's out in mode of passion. It's mode of passion. It's not in the mode of goodness. So you want to perform for the sake of honor, worship, etc. And this is not stable or permanent. I'm summarizing what Krishna said. Text 18, it's there. Penance performed out of pride and for the sake of gaining respect, honor and worship is said to be in the mode of passion. And ignorance, you do something because you don't know. It's out of foolish penance. Like who? Hiranyakashipu is one of those examples. Foolish penance. He performed this penance so that he could get power, and in the end it also destroyed him. There are those who do self-torture. There are cultures in the world that do use the whip and they do self-flagellation. There are others who pierce themselves with needles and hooks. There are others who sit in the middle of fire, surrounded. So it's all self-torture, but it's in the mode of ignorance. So Krishna then concludes the chapter. There's very few verses in this chapter. It's actually 28 verses. So from text 23 to 28, Krishna speaks about, he mentions these 3 words, Om Tat Sat, and I'll just read that quickly. From the beginning of creation, the 3 words Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. So at the end of the puja you say Om Tat Sat, you're referring to Krishna. These 3 symbolic representations were used by Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. Who's saying? Krishna is speaking that. Therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performance of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with scriptural regulations always begin with Om to attain the Supreme. Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word Sat. Tat. That the purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement. Anything done as a sacrifice, charity, or penance without faith in the Supreme or Son of Prita is impermanent. It is called Asat. Opposite of Sat is Asat, and is useless both in this life and in the next. So that's how the chapter concludes. Krishna concludes the chapter by saying that these three things, these different aspects we discuss in the chapter, they're all in these three modes. At least come to the mode of goodness. When you come to the mode of goodness, it's a gateway for you to come to the mode of pure goodness, Suddha Sattva, Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada, in the purport, he says that religious activity not done in proper consciousness is practically useless. Anything without faith in the Supreme is impermanent and called asat, and is useless in this life and in the next. So then what's the ultimate goal then, to summarize the chapter, is to understand Krishna. And the advice of all the Vedas says that we should have faith in the Supreme. Supreme is singular. No, Supreme means one who has no equal or no superior. There cannot be many Supremes. So the idea that all is one is not correct. There is Bhagavan and there is Deva or Devata. The Devatas are not Bhagavan, the Supreme. And therefore it is an offense to think. What is that offense? To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the names of Lord Krishna. They're not equal, nor are they independent. So, how to make everything successful? Work from the platform of Krishna consciousness. Instead of going through the yoga ladder lifetime after lifetime after lifetime without some, chance, guarantee of success even, take the elevator of Krishna consciousness and make rapid advancement. So, in the conditional state, one is attracted to different worship based on the three modes. But Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all of that. And Bhagavad Gita chapter 17 is saying, take to the direct Krishna conscious process. How? Associate. Take sadhu sangha. If you do not take the sangha, the association of devotees, then you won't be able to learn much. So that's the best recommended method. That ends chapter 17. Chapter 18 is called the perfection of renunciation, and it's actually a summary of all the teachings in Bhagavad Gita, just as we had in chapter 2, called the contents of Bhagavad Gita summarized. So it's called Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. So the theme of the chapter is surrender. So Krishna repeats to Arjuna in this chapter that renunciation does not mean you must give up whatever you're doing, because Arjuna was a Kshatriya. It's not possible for the embodied soul to give up your conditioning. So the point of Bhagavad Gita is not renunciation of action, it is renunciation in action. You get the difference? It's not renunciation of action. You don't have to give up and sit and do nothing. But it's renunciation in action, meaning the consciousness is that your actions are done as an activity for the Supreme Lord, and the fruits of what you earn and get are also offered. So without attachment to the results. So for those who are not renounced and attached to the fruits of action, then after death, they're still entangled in this nature. But for one who has renounced the fruits of actions, then they get liberated from the material world, and if they dovetail that in Krishna's service, then they get placed in devotional service in their next life. So here too, Krishna speaks about different aspects like knowledge, action, performer of the action, and he divides that into 3 modes. So it's a little technical, but he's concluding. I won't go through all of it, but you'll get the point. Krishna speaks about knowledge. So we all are into knowledge, we're learning, we get so much knowledge, we want to get knowledge from different books, we want to go to different institutes. Everybody's in the search for some kind of knowledge. But Krishna says in chapter 18, that knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities, though they're divided into innumerable forms, you should understand to be in the mode of goodness. In other words, seeing beyond the body that every living entity is a spirit soul. There exists a spiritual nature. That knowledge is in the mode of goodness. That knowledge, then Krishna says, that knowledge which divides, that you think every person is different, etc., it should be understood to be in the mode of passion. That's why we see in racial terms, in cultural terms, in national terms, we see it with division. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness. In other words, we're so absorbed in that which has taken us away from Krishna, and we think that is the ultimate thing. Then it's in the mode of darkness. We become entangled through that. What about action? Action is that is regulated. It's done without love or hatred. You're equipoised. You don't have a desire for the fruit of result because you know Krishna is the beneficiary of all that. That's in the mode of goodness. But if you're acting to continuously gratify your senses and you're acting from a platform of false ego, that's in the mode of passion. And that which you act in illusion, you're under illusion, you act. You perform it with disregard to scriptural injunctions. You don't care. People say, I don't care. I don't care what happens. You hear that? Declare my independence. I don't care what happens. But that's without concern for future bondage. Without concern for the violence or distress it may cause others. If we act in that way, then that's in the mode of ignorance. What about your work? One who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, it's like similar to action, then he's in the mode of goodness. But the worker who is attached to his work and the fruits of work. This was a very powerful cartoon. It's actually showing the industrialist and the worker. See the industrialist sitting at the table there, the worker sitting at the table, while the industrialist is getting fat from the profits through exploitation. So the worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy those fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion. So basically here an understanding is that one who knows what's to be done and what's not to be done, and guided by scriptural understanding, is the mode of goodness. Those who cannot distinguish between what is religious and not religious, and that should be done and not should be done, those who do not know the difference, they're in the mode of passion. And those who consider religion to be irreligion, and religion, and irreligion to be religion, they're in the mode of darkness. In this world there are many, many persons who present the idea of religion But you have to see in the outcome of that. What is it producing? Is it producing a nation of more violent and divisive people who feel that if you don't follow them, we are peaceful as long as you follow us. Otherwise, happiness, what about happiness? How is that in different modes? That happiness which in the beginning tastes like poison, but in the end is nectar, that is the mode of goodness. So it sounds intriguing. What does it mean? Spiritual instruction in the beginning is like poison, because it is so difficult to follow all the rules and regulations. It's tough. But in the end, if you follow that, the result is happiness, real happiness. Like some of you have to perform an austerity for studying. I use that mundane example. You have to put in all the hard work if you want to get those results, those A's and B's. And maybe just A's and A pluses, I should say, no B's for you. So, you want to get that. It's hard work. But then you feel it. You say, oh, I'm stressed. There's pain of the study. I wish it was over. Then you get your result and say, okay, it was worth it. So the same way for spiritual life, in the beginning it's hard. People will tell you, chant 16 rounds. Oh no, I can't hardly chant one. Alright, it's important to consider being vegetarian, practice. Oh, shucks, there goes my whole friendship. My McDonald's company is gone. Can't go there anymore. Why do you have to be so heavy? Why do we have to do all this? Why? Krishna is the supreme physician. Take the medicine according to his prescription. If you take it according to your own whims and fancies, it don't work. 3 times a day, take the medicine, doc. And no tapering prescription, only increasing. Right? So in that way, you become situated. That happiness which is derived from the contact of your senses in this world, it's temporary. It tastes like nectar because you're enjoying your senses. But in the end, what happens? It's poison. In the beginning it's like nectar, but in the end it's poison. You have all of these in the world, right? You try to enjoy your senses, then there's disease, there's repercussion, there's grief. I thought she loved me so much. In the end it's like that. And the happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, which arises from sleep, laziness and illusion. That is said to be the nature of ignorance, and it is all poison. Poison in the beginning and poison in the end. Okay, so what we have to then become transcendently situated. And when we become transcendently situated, Brahma Bhuta Prashanatma Na Sochati Na Kankshati. When you're situated on the platform of Brahman, meaning the spiritual platform, then there's no hankering and lamentation. Na sochati, na kankshati. So Krishna then tells Arjuna, but dear Arjuna, how to become situated on this platform? Always think of me. So everybody, let's repeat. This is a very nice verse. Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mam eva ishyasi satyam te pratijane priyasi me. Always think of me. Say, become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this, because you are my very dear friend. So the qualification of one who has to receive the mercy of the Lord is indicated herein, that we have to have the friendly disposition to the Lord. We have to become His devotee. Some people say like that, oh, why? Why do I have to do that? God is so merciful, He should just give me like that. That's the idea some people have. They feel an entitlement just because they belong in a human life. No. You have to earn it. You have to earn it. Anything worthwhile you have to earn. So the Lord is He's equipoised to every living entity. Therefore He travels in your heart as the super soul, Paramatma, just accompanying you through all your 8,400,000 species of life. And the minute you indicate, somehow you have an inkling towards spiritual life, He makes the arrangement. He directs the wandering of the living entity to the context of sadhu sangha, where you can get more information. So it's about being a friend to the Lord. And this is the very important verse. Krishna declares, it's a declaration from Krishna. This is also something you should learn if you don't know it. Say Kanaya, the verse, without looking there. Sarva Dharman. Thank you. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So abandon all varieties of religion means all dharmas and all karmas. Give it up. And surrender unto me. No need for any of the impersonal liberation, demigod worship, nothing of that sort. Because all of that worship is fully reposed in the source of all of that worship, which is the Supreme Lord, Krishna. When you surrender, then everything. When Lord Brahma went to see Lord Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan to plead for him to come to the earth planet, because Mother Bhumi had cried piteously to him that please help. The force of the demoniac kings are overwhelming for me. Please help. So Lord Brahma went to Goloka Vrindavan. And there he sees, while waiting for Krishna to speak to Krishna, then he sees, as Krishna is sitting on this throne, on this whirl of the lotus, together with Radharani on the topmost part of the lotus, as he's sitting there and he sees the chariot comes. And who should it be? But Lord Ram enters and emerges into Krishna. Then Nrsingadev comes and goes into Krishna. Then Varaha comes. And the proof is being given that Krishna is the source. Ete chamsa kalapumsa Krishna astu bhagavan swayam indriyari vyakula lokam mriddayanta yuga yuga. These are portions and portions, these are plenary portions and portions of plenary portions. But Krishna astu bhagavan swayam. The original personality is Krishna. And one should surrender, Prabhupada says, unhesitatingly accept Krishna as the supreme savior of all living entities. And with faith and love, one should surrender unto him. And if one says, I can't surrender now, that's okay. Surrender also happens in steps. But what is the harm? What is the loss? There's no loss. It's all gain. Somebody did ask Prabhupada, what if at the end of your life you find out that Krishna is not the Supreme Lord? You know, like they would challenge, they have a debate with Prabhupada, he'd like that. So Prabhupada said that, that's okay, because this process is so wonderful and joyful, it doesn't matter anyway. Because Krishna is the source of all joy, so you feel it. But of course that was just a little in jest, but Prabhupada was convinced. So what should we do then, once we have all of this conviction? We should explain the supreme secret to the devotees, to the people. If we do that, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. So, one who spreads his glories is most dear to Krishna. That's what he says. No one is more dear servant to me than he, one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, nor will there ever be one more dear. One who studies the sacred conversation of ours, Krishna is telling Arjuna, he is worshipping me by his intelligence. The verse references are there if you want them. So then eventually Krishna asks Arjuna, Arjuna, I've spoken all of this, now are you free from illusion? Because Arjuna was started off with lamentation and illusion, chapter 1. He was bewildered, he didn't know what's his duty, his identity, activity. The whole Bhagavad Gita was spoken in 45 minutes for that purpose. So Arjuna says, by your mercy. My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt and am prepared to act according to your instructions. So Arjuna was considered a great devotee of the Lord. He is intelligent. He was not indoctrinated by Krishna. He is already a devotee of the Lord, but he is playing this role so that we can understand the instruction that's necessary for us to advance. So after Krishna speaks the entire Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, my illusion is gone. So who is the speaker? Who is speaking this Bhagavad Gita? Who's like witnessing and presenting what's happening on the battlefield? Is Sanjaya. Sanjaya, the secretary of Dhritarashtra, was given the divine vision to envision everything on the battlefield, and he was able to hear the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. So then Sanjaya tells he tells Dhritarashtra that at the end of this conversation, what happens? He is hearing this conversation and his hair is standing on end. He tells Dhritarashtra, so Sanjaya said, thus I've heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna, and so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. This is so Sanjaya is declaring, wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. So the devotee of the Lord is with the Lord. Hanuman is with Lord Ram. As always, extraordinary power and victory. Arjuna is with Krishna. And Hanuman was with Krishna too. Who knows how? On the flag of Arjuna's chariot, Hanuman told Arjuna that I can't come and fight in this Leela. I belong to Ram Leela. But I will lend my victory cries. So he expanded himself under the flag of Arjuna. And throughout the war, he was shrieking on the flag. Can you imagine the terror in the hearts of the opposition to see Hanuman on the flag? Jai Shri Ram! Jai Shri Krishna! On that flag. So, Ram is Krishna. So what should we do with all of this knowledge? Can anybody tell us? Now that we got all this knowledge given in Bhagavad Gita and today's Gita Jayanti, what should we do? Yes? Distribute it. What else? Apply it. Somebody say? Practice it. What else? Distribute it, right? So that's what we're doing this whole week. We're distributing Bhagavad Gitas. I have one student in my class, Bhakti Shastri class. She got so fired up with just the WhatsApp. Today, for 1 week, now she's on 143 Bhagavad Gitas she distributed. Just because she got fired up. Her conviction is so powerful that she wanted to share it with others. So, study it. So if you distribute it, your pure devotional service is guaranteed. You go back to Godhead. If you study it, it means you're worshipping it, your intelligence. Hear with faith and without envy. Then you become free from sinful reactions. You'll attain auspicious planets at least if you don't make it for pure devotional service now. You'll enter where the pious dwell, where all the sages are. They will instruct you further, and you'll go further and further. And surrender to the holy name. We shall begin chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The Yoga Dharma, that's the process for this age. It's 8:34. I went 4 minutes over. So, how are you going to distribute it? Harinam Sankirtan, the holy name can be distributed. What about distributing some Bhagavad Gitas in the next 5 minutes while you're seated here, before your friends go to sleep? Can you send them a WhatsApp? Say, Hare Krishna, today's Gita Jayanti. Write it out personally. We just finished at the temple, and before the night is over, would you like to take one Bhagavad Gita to commemorate this event? Write to your friend. Do it now. WhatsApp somebody. Don't be shy. You're doing it for Krishna. Previously we had a telethon. We tell everybody, pull out your phone, find a corner, call 5 people. But now it's late. It's already after 8:30. So we don't want to do that. Send somebody a WhatsApp. So while we are doing that, we want to honor also another wonderful devotee, family of devotees. So that is Kamalesan Prabhu. There, Subhashni Mataji and his 2 boys are here. They are like getting so fired up now recently. And Kamalesan Prabhu is actually today on Gita Jayanti. He's taken 100 signs of self-realization. And he's got a wonderful plan. They have a wonderful plan that on every Sunday love feast, they're going to make this a special gift, a gift pack with the books. I think there'll be some other books also. They're trying to work out what's the best combinations. And then make an offering to the Lord. Not only a book, wants also offer a nice rose to the Lord and give it to you or give it to somebody. And so many new people are coming. This Sunday we came in after that Park Rani program, and then I saw people were taking. He just spontaneously also gave 20 Bhagavad Gitas. So Yes, according to one's capacity, right? If you have the capacity, the finances, etc., to distribute that, then one should do. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Yome bhaktya prayachate. If one offers me fruit, flower, leaf or water, I shall accept it. So according to your capacity. So if you have limited capacity, then send a WhatsApp and get somebody else to do it. It just takes a little effort, one little effort to do it. So how many of you did that now? Send one. You don't wait for the results. Don't be attached to the result. Do the effort and leave it to Krishna. Tomorrow morning, somebody will respond. You tried it? How many of you tried it while we were sitting here? And others are shy to try it, or you got no data? Let's try it. Say, I can tell you that that method of the WhatsApp, I call it the WhatsApp-a-thon this year. It works. Because nowadays when you try to phone people or you try to present them book, they all are very intimidated. They don't want to make a decision on the spot. And also they have to check with the boss if it's okay to give the money donation for the Bhagavad Gita and so on. So, but if you send a WhatsApp, it's kind of in their private space, which they are so used to in this contemporary times. It's right there in their alpha space. And then they don't feel intimidated. They can make a choice whether they want to or not without feeling embarrassed or awkward and so on. And they choose. Most people can give something. All right, so let's take one question, then we'll end this. Yeah, ask a question. There's a chance. If you have so many, then you can ask at least one. Ah, very nice. What is the reason for Krishna creating human life? He didn't create the human life because he wanted to, but Krishna is a personality who enjoys relationships. So he created the spirit souls in the spiritual world with spiritual relationships. And all these spirit souls, because they are created of the same nature of Krishna, then they also have an independence. Like Krishna is a supremely independent person, so we also have some independence in us. And sometimes, foolishly, we choose not to remain with Krishna. We don't want to, or we become envious of his position as the Supreme Lord. But in the spiritual world, there can only be one transcendental autocrat, Krishna. Everybody else is the servant. So if you have that mentality, then he creates the other world for you to play with your toys. Like the child wants to cook like mommy, but it's can't do it, it's too small. Say, yeah, here's the pots and pans, go there in that corner and play there. Similarly, we are given this material world as a set of circumstances in this world to help us to rectify that consciousness that we have strayed away. So we enter into the material nature, and this material nature consists of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Or if you want to remember your nightmarish table of elements at the back of the laboratory wall, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, all of that. I remember a few. Chon used to have a mnemonic. But that's what it is, earth, water, fire, air, ether. So because of this world has those elements, then the body is constituted from that. So not only the human body, but so many other bodies. So the spirit soul, all of that is inert and inanimate. But the spirit soul becomes covered by the material nature and develops a body from that. Right? So, we are all devotees of the Lord. We've been covered by the material nature, we've forgotten our position. And we're trying to express a search for enjoyment through the senses. Rather incompatible situation. You're projecting a spiritual consciousness through a material body. And then it becomes a perverted reflection of the original. But when you develop your spiritual consciousness, then you'll see, I am a spirit. I'm not the body, I'm a spirit soul. I have an eternal relationship with Krishna. That's where I belong. At the time of death, then you remember Krishna. And you go back. Alright, so we kept you long enough. We can end here. 9 o'clock is the last arti if anybody wants to stay around for that. I think, where's Gajendra Prabhu? Is he back? Everything sorted? Yes? Thank you. So today's Ekadasi, also, because of all of this Sunday love feast and so on, there wasn't really like a cooked meal for today, but we have fruits that have been offered. Right? Gajendra's been offered? Yeah. So then that can be the prasadam for today. It's Ekadasi anyway, so we are taking fruits. So on your way out, Gajendra probably will help with that. Jitesh is there? Okay, please. Thank you. If you are leaving now, then they'll serve you that. Please continue with this book marathon until the end of December. That's where we're scheduled to finish the summer. Previously it's called the summer book marathon, but now it's Prabhupada marathon. And try to distribute. An apple a day does what? Come listen. Keeps the doctor away. A book a day keeps Maya away. Hare Krishna. Thanks for helping with that, those chairs, and taking your time to be here this evening. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Gaur Prema Anande Hari Hari Bo. The earth. One other thing I can add to that is that we are made in the image of God. Krishna's form, we look like him. But he is eternally youthful. The spiritual living entities are eternally youthful. But we in the material nature, we age. Birth, old age, disease and death. So when you say we have a human, why would it make us like a human? Krishna is so merciful, he gave us that form. He gave us that form, that, yeah. Somebody has left their phone. If you leave it behind, you won't be able to catch up on those WhatsApp responses for your Bhagavad Gita. Whose is this? Whose phone is this? Somebody quickly just check out in the foyer in case they left. It's open. I can even dial my phone from here to see whose name comes up. Hare Krishna? You found the owner? Okay. So they have to distribute one Bhagavad Gita for finding that. It will cost them more. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I will have it now. Thanks so much for that. Well, I'm here now. It's almost 1:45. You staying? Oh. No, tell Pitaji I'll drop you. Oh, thank you so much for that. Jai. Let's put this away. Disconnect that. Pull that HDMI out.